one of the things I do, and I mentioned this last week, I often look for God to echo, right? Echo, what I call it echo, what other folks will say is confirmation, right? But I like to call it an echo because confirmation can only be confirmation when you've heard it first. Amen. Right? It can only confirm once you've heard it. So to me, that's an echo. I see the echo. So we've been praying about this. And so my family is on the way back home from Christmas. We gone to Chicago. I needed some time away. It was amazing. It was great. On the way back home, we have this 4-hour layover in Atlanta. And they were intentionally doing longer layovers just to make sure traffic that you didn't miss your flight. But I'm like, 4 hours is a long time to be in the airport with 2 children and a wife. It was a lot, okay? It was a whole lot. It was a whole lot. She would phrase it differently. She was like, with 2 kids and a husband. You have no idea, right? So while we're there, we get a chance to leave the airport. We go, and I'd never been able to take my children to Ebenezer. If you don't know, I am a huge, huge fan. Fan is not the right word. I absolutely love the work that came through Dr. King and Coretta Scott King, the two of them working together. So to be so close, to take my boys, I was like, all right, y'all, let's run. My wife's stepbrother comes pick us up. We eat, we do all this stuff. So we go. We're at the National Historic Park. We're walking around. I'm telling them I'm in my full pastor PhD. Y'all gonna learn some Black history today moment. Like, they up there trying to play around. Nuh-uh, we don't run on this land. You understand me? Put your phone down. You got plenty of times for, it's bad. Anyway, so we walk in. And this other little kids, they playing all types. They flipping and jumping. One kid tried to jump into the pool. I was like this, if y'all don't get y'all kids, because they wasn't our kids. If y'all don't get y'all kids, you understand? I was trying to tell them, but anyway, so I'm talking to my kids. And as we're there, man, my wife's stepbrother was like, oh, man, you should get a picture at the Eternal Flame. I was like, it's a fire. Like, I've seen fires before, but meh. So if you can, I want to put up this last slide. So I turn around to go to the Eternal Flame. And inscribed on the ground, it says, the dream lives, the legacy... the legacy continues. And as I was sitting there, I was like, God, you know how much I hate leading out. I want to make sure that I'm sure. I don't want to say that you've told us to do something and you didn't tell us to do it. If it's just me, it ain't going to work, God. I need to know that you're there. And under the guise of one of the individuals to whom I look up to the most, I see inscribed upon the ground the very words that God had placed in us almost a year and a half ago. The legacy continues. Let me tell you, I think it is a part of what we're doing to continue the legacy. In fact, this historic park is connected to the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church. I am of the deep belief that history, especially for our people in this season, will far more be a job of the church than any place else. It reminds me of freedom schools. It reminds me of all the times that we came together, and no matter what was out there, we determined what was going to happen in here. So, Pastor, what does that look like? This looks like a time of intentional prayer. This is why our fast starts tomorrow, that we want to make sure that everybody joins together in asking God, God, what are you calling us to do? In fact, on your way out, we have prayer journals and even prayer cards with dots that help you be able to intentionally take this time and start asking God. And we want you to ask honestly, God, how would you have me participate? It is my hope that every single Emmanuel member would find themselves participating. Whatever your level is, don't find yourself outside and not inside. Be willing to do that work. And I'm not telling you what to give. I'm just telling you to pray to God to tell you what to give. Now, some of you know, if you've been in faith long enough, that might be worse. Because whenever I talk to God, God always tells me to do more than I had on my head. But God always honors what God has told me to do. And as my second echo, when my wife and I start praying about this, God had placed a number in my heart. And I was back and forth. I was like, you know God. That sounds real good. That sounds like somebody that don't work like I do, Lord. And then my wife had the audacity to utter out of her mouth the same word. And I wish I could make this up. When I asked my wife, I was like, all right, babe, have you prayed about this and everything? She said, did you just say a number? I was like, so, me and my wife, we had this thing where I'm always frowning up at my wife. She hates it. I'm like, I just asked you a question. What do you mean did I just say a number? So that's me being myself. And she was like, I promise, I just heard a number. I was like, what? What did you hear? She says the exact number that had been in my heart. And I'm sitting there like, well, now I can't say that he didn't say it, right? Because that's going to be terrible. Right. I can't be like, well, that's not what he told me. But I say that to say, when we honor God, God always honors us.